Hi everybody, and welcome to 7 Ways to Grow Your Business in this new remote world. We'll just give people a minute to come on board, but the idea of this is that given the sudden changes that we've had across the UK and around the world, that everyone's all of a sudden embraced remote working. We might be feeling a bit challenged. It's quite new to us, and we're all wondering what we're going to do. So some people are working, some people at home, some people are at home still trying to keep in touch with things. So the idea of this is that we just wanted to share some free content with people to give you an idea about some of the stuff that we do in our training courses to help people promote their business and still make a difference in these challenging times. Let me give you an overview. So we're going to, bit of a welcome. Dawn and I are going to share our Asentiv story. Then we've got some, the Asentiv story, share our stories, talk about some of the challenges that people are facing right now. We've got 7 ways to grow your business in this remote world, and then what can you do next? So Dawn, could I hand over to you for the Asentiv story?
Yes, hi everyone. So Asentiv was established in 2002 by the gentleman on the screen there. Some of you may recognise him. That's Dr. Ivan Meisner, who also founded BNI, for those of you who are familiar with that. And the reason he did this was that, I don't know if you're aware of the BNI story, it started in his garage, got that developed, and then realised that actually there was a lot more to networking and growing your business than just having a forum, if you like, in which to do it. And so he developed a training program, which was the Asentiv program. He did take it to the board of his BNI company, and they said, yeah, Ivan, looks great. However, we are a networking organisation, not a training organisation, and therefore we don't want your lovely material. So he said, okay, thanks, I'll start my own company. And that was how Asentiv was born. He actually founded it with 3 other co-founders at the time, and that was in 2002. We're now established in 26 different countries around the globe, and as you can see there, it's for vision and mission driven entrepreneurs. What does that mean? Well, if that sentence speaks to you, you probably are a vision and mission driven entrepreneur already. You may even be one and not know it, but if you have a passion, a drive to succeed in your business, and it's about more than just the money and the making of the money, it's about what the money can do for you, for your community, for your family, for people around you, then you are a vision and mission driven entrepreneur. And most definitely you will realize that your business can only grow and accelerate at the same rate that you grow and accelerate yourself. So that's just a little part of the background for Asentiv.
Thanks very much. So my Asentiv story starts back in 2017 when I was running my video marketing social media agency. Somebody invited me along to find out more about Asentiv, and I liked the idea of it, but I was too busy. I couldn't spare the 4 days, and I couldn't really afford to invest in the training at that point. Go forward 12 months to early 2018, and I just lost a huge client. I'd spent months working on it, and then it all fell through, and I didn't have a sales pipeline. So all of a sudden I needed to find some new business quickly. So I was invited again, just coincidentally, back to an Asentiv event, and what did it for me was the opportunity to work smart, not hard, and we'll come on to that in a minute. I sat the Asentiv program, and at the time it was a 4-day course for me, and everybody had to pay for it up front. So it was 4 days spread 2 weeks apart. So you did a day, then came back 2 weeks later, and then so on. I sat it as a client. Within 3 months, I'd grown my agency by 58%. I'd won my first £50,000 client as a referral, and I'd taken my average client value from £350 to £3,600. So it had a massive impact on my business. We were then invited to film at the Asentiv conference, and when I was there, I thought I could see myself doing this because I love the material. So I sat the training program, and then that's how I met Dawn. So we've collaborated and are now in business together. Over to you, Dawn.
Lucky you, I say. So my story, a little bit further back than Jamie. So I had been working for somebody else in insurance, or an insurance brokerage, decided in my infinite wisdom that I'd give up that nice cushy paid salary and start my own business in insurance, because I think a lot of us, when we start our own business, we go for the thing that we know, and that's exactly what I did. and started that business. Suddenly discovered networking, which up until that point I'd never heard about. This is 2011. And what happened was I found the Asentiv material via networking, and somebody introduced that to me very early on, literally 6 weeks into the start of that business. We were a cold start business because we were both under a restrictive covenant, so we couldn't approach any of our previous clients. And what the Asentiv program did for me was show me a way of bringing new business in without cold calling and by leveraging the network that I'd got around me. It changed the trajectory of my business life and my personal life, to be fair. But what happened was within the first year of that business, in fact the first 9 months, myself and my then business partner, we won Franchise of the Year only 9 months into our journey, which was absolutely phenomenal. And that all came via implementing the Asentiv program. And then I, if you like, loved it so much I wanted to buy the company, so I sold out my share of the insurance business and started doing Asentiv full time myself. And you know, I've done that ever since. I've helped many clients. Probably my biggest success story is someone who won the contract to paint the Grand Central Station in Birmingham. If any of you are familiar, it's quite a huge building. And they were commercial decorators. They got that by implementing some of our stuff. So every time I go there, I always think, yeah, got that through Asentiv. So that was great. Whilst I've just got you as well, something that I wanted to say when we're talking about the Asentiv story, I mentioned that Ivan founded it with 3 other founding partners. One of those partners actually founded his Asentiv business in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. And I mention that just because, you know, the times that we find ourselves in at the moment, very challenging. Some people very worried, very scared about what's going to happen. And it's just to share with you that, you know, someone who lost their home, 2 businesses in fact, they were able to rebuild their business in that year following Hurricane Katrina to a really successful state, and all while being a vision and mission driven entrepreneur, helping other people around them at the same time. And I think it's important that we know about these good stories at the moment when there is a lot of fear and uncertainty around.
Definitely. So the roots of Asentiv are based on the challenges that are people facing right now. So all of a sudden, people are having to work remotely. Networking events have been cancelled or have moved online for the first time, and people are finding their way with that. Everybody who has done business development in the past, all those old ways of doing things have suddenly stopped. So a lot of people are going to find it hard to meet new people. And without a doubt, everyone is really worried about the changes that we're going through right now. We are naturally, as humans, resilient and innovators, so we'll all work through this, and what's going on right now is only temporary, but there's a lot that you can do to get through the next few weeks and months. Go on.
Yeah, so I want to share with you some definitions before we get started on the 7 ways, just so you know kind of where we're coming from, a baseline foundation, if you like. On the screen at the minute, we've got our definition of what networking is, because networking isn't just something that's labelled a networking event. You know, it's a verb, it's a something to do. So it's the opportunity to do business with someone that's in the market to buy your product or service. And 2 things in there for me. One is it's an opportunity. So it's not a guaranteed sale, it is an opportunity. But what we know is that referred business closes at a much higher rate. And later on, Jamie's going to share with you some statistics around that. And also that it's for someone who's in the market to buy your product or service. So this is coming away from the let's market to everyone. Let's get in front of those people who actually have the need for our product or service. And again, we'll talk about how we can identify that a bit later on in one of the 7 ways. So the next definition that we've got is our actually, I apologise, that is our definition of a referral. Thank you for not interrupting me, Jamie. That is our definition of a referral that's on there. The next definition is the definition of networking, and that is the process of developing and using contacts to develop your business, expand your sphere of influence, and enhance your knowledge. Lots of different words in there, but I think the one for me is right at the start. It's a process. So it's not just a matter of going out to networking events or doing them online as you do now. It's about putting some structure and strategy behind it, knowing who are the right people that you need to develop your business and grow this sphere of influence around you. And particularly at the moment, enhancing your knowledge in lots of different areas. So it's about being able to do more than just rock up at a networking event, be that in person or online. It's about having some goals and targets and some structure around that. And then finally, what is referral marketing, word of mouth marketing, relationship marketing, whatever you want to call it? Well, here you go. It's a business strategy to attract new clients through the process of relationship building, which results in a steady flow of personally recommended business. And there's lots of words in that I love, but a business strategy, I've mentioned that a couple of times already. You know, it's about having a process in there, so it's not by accident. It's not, you know, scattergun approach, throwing enough stuff out there and something will stick. This is getting a good strategy going. And then the second half of that definition, a steady flow of business. And you know, now more than ever, that's what we want coming in, because we know we've all got our bills coming in, and that's always the same. And we want to have that sort of steady line of business in our business, rather than that boom and bust where you've got an abundance of clients and then you've got none, and then it's like, oh, what can I do about it? You know, I'm talking to a lot of people at the moment about, don't stop doing the stuff to attract new clients. Otherwise, when we get out the other side of this, you're going to be starting from behind everyone else who continued their strategies for attracting customers at this time. We need to carry on doing that. And if you can have some process and structure around it, then all the better.
Thanks very much. So let's just give you some stats on referrals, because right now, if you imagine that somebody recommending you and your business is going to have a massive impact rather than feeling like you're selling. So getting an introduction, if you compare it to normal prospecting, where we did some research in the States, and typically 1 out of 20 prospects will buy from you. So if you imagine where you currently get your leads from, they might be cold leads, you might buy them, they might come from Google search, but on average, 1 in 20 people buy from you. If you compare that to referrals, where typically from a good quality referral, and we'll talk about the process that people should go through, 1 in 3 referred prospects are likely to buy from you. So if you imagine what you could do with all that extra time or all the extra business that you would win if you converted that 1 in 20 to 1 in 3. Then referred clients stay with you longer because they've come to you based on relationships rather than just a Google search where it's more transactional. These are relationships that you're going to have with these clients. They stay with you 4 times longer on average. They also, depend upon what you sell with this one, they're more likely to buy from you faster. So on average, they buy 3 to 4 times from you in the first 12 months. And then because they come to you by referral, they understand that that's how you win your business. So they're 2.5 times more likely to refer you to other people because that's the way that they came in. Okay, so if you've got your workbooks now, we emailed this out to everybody, and you'll notice that on the pages they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4 in the different boxes. So these are the 7 different ways. I'm going to hand over to Dawn for this first way.
Okay, so this is all about a way to grow your business. That's looking at people who have maybe already passed business to you and thinking about how many people that they know and how many referrals that you've had. And we're not asking you to share your personal values here, but think about what was the financial value of those referrals to you. So we've got a little diagram for you, and in your step 1 box, you might want to follow along with this. I think you'll find it helpful of seeing a way how you could easily get some new business in for your business. So if you draw yourself in the middle with the so it says me, that means you, and then 4 lines like that, and then think of 4 people who have given you referrals, given you business in the past. Now, the only proviso for this is that you want you to think of how many referrals that they've given you, but over the same period of time. So, for instance, we've got Gail, Brian, Michelle and Bernadette on there, and I'm looking at that, and I've put those figures in for the referrals that they have all passed me in the last 12 months. You might have a smaller, you might have 3 months or 6 months, but it all must be the same. We can't say, right, as Gail's given me 2 referrals in the last 3 months, but Brian's given me 3 in the last 12 months. You see where I'm coming from. So pick a period of time, pick the 4 people and put in how many referrals they've given you. Now, you may not be able to think of 4 people. That's absolutely fine. For the purposes of this example, it doesn't matter. It just shows you how we're looking to show you how much of an opportunity you've got in front of you just by the people around you that you already know. So once you've got that, if you think about how many people on average do we all know? Now, if you scroll to the bottom of the contacts in your phone, it will tell you how many contacts you've got in the phone. And we tend to find that that's in excess of 500, oftentimes in excess of 1,200, which is what I've got on mine. But we'll accept that everyone knows at least 250 people. So that's why we've put the 250 there on the screen. We know it's far more, but 250 is a nice, fair assumption. And it makes the maths quite easy. And if you think if they know more, it would just improve this. So then there is a little bit of calculation maths for you. So you need to get your brains in gear for this. So you put the calculation up on the screen for you there. So we know we've got 4 people with 250 contacts, so that's 1,000 people. The referrals they've given us total to 8, and if you do 8 divided by 1,000 as a percentage, it gives you 0.8%. All right, so you might want to work yours out. Now, we know from working with hundreds of people that at this stage, that referral percentage rarely comes out to anything above 1%. I think once I saw like a 1.7%, but most often it's under 1%. The point that we're making here is that one way that you could grow your business right now is to just go back to these 4 people and re-educate them on your business and see if they are able to pass you any business at this stage. If you've only got 1 person on there, go back to that one, and then in a little while we'll show you some ways about maybe who you could think about to put in those other 3 spots. So what we know is that people always come up with a really, really low figure here. Let's just say it is, as we've got on there, 0.8%. If you could just get those people out of the minimum 250 people they know to double what they've given you, you know, that would be 8 new pieces of business coming into your business right now. Now, I don't know what the average value of a client is for you. It depends what your business is. It could be anything from £50 to £50,000, quite frankly. The point is that is extra business sat there as a way to grow your business right now. And what I said earlier about if you had not got 4 people on there, or you wanted to think about how you could expand that theory we've just gone through with you, we've got our second way that you can grow your business is about looking at your circle of contacts and working out how you could strategize the people around there. So that diagram that you've got there, the little dots represent the people that you know. So we just talked about minimum 250. There's not 250 dots on there, but imagine those are all the people you know. What we want you to do is look at where do they sit in your circle of contacts? What's the level of the relationship that exists there? Now, if this diagram was 3D, it would be like a child's spinning top. So the closer to the middle it gets, the deeper down that it would go. I'm just going to run through with you the titles that we've got on those circles there. So on the outer circle, we've got 8 sources of referrals. Now, if I was running this in a live class environment, I would ask people what is the best source of referrals, and without doubt, we always get the answer of clients. So existing clients, they are indeed one of the 8 sources of referrals. For us, they're not the best source, but they are a source. So if you have clients right now that have done business with you before, how about going back to them and seeing if they have anyone else that they can recommend to you? Or maybe if you've got multiple products and services, you may be able to offer them something else. Now, the second circle in there, we call the contact sphere. Now, the contact sphere is another one of the 8 sources of referrals, and that we like to think is the best source, to be honest. A contact sphere relationship, that would be a business that complements but doesn't compete with yours. So, for instance, us as business coaches, that could be an accountant. So he's looking at the numbers of a business. He'll know who needs help with either growing their business with business development, or someone who needs to have maybe a mastermind group around them. So he's an accountant, he or she could be a great contact sphere relationship for us, because he complements our business but doesn't compete, and likewise we can refer back to him. Coming down from that, the next layer, you've got your personal power team. Now these all tip from each circle, so these will be people from the contact sphere that you decide to really place around you and work very, very closely with, and you will be almost, when you're in contact with them, you'll be in contact with them regularly, updating each other on what you're doing, really building that close-knit network around you. And then the very centre, the bullseye, if you will, on there is a referral partner. Criteria for a referral partner is someone, is a relationship where you're passing consistent, proactive and reciprocal referrals between each other. And essentially, when you're looking for business for yourself, you're looking for business for them also. And so what we're saying to you is have a look who you've got around you. I would say that most people, unless you are a brand new startup in a brand new area, you probably have enough people around you to make this work for you now and to make an impact on your business. These 7 ways that we're going to share with you, you could do that with these people that are in these circles around you. You may not know where they fit, it doesn't matter. Just think about who you've got around you and how they might be able to help you, and you help them right now.
Brilliant, thanks Dawn. Okay, so the third step that we've got for you is about building some consistency in your referral process. So most of you have probably had people that stumble across opportunities where, let's say that you sell insurance and someone just happens to mention that their insurance is due for renewal. You might then introduce them to the person that supplies you with your insurance, but it's not structured in any way. So there's 5 steps to the referral process. The first one is all about trust. So you've got to have trust in your referral partners and people that are introducing you. You build trust in a number of different ways. So it could be from always doing what you say you're going to do. So if you say you're going to call somebody back in 5 minutes, that you call them back in 5 minutes. It could be from always being punctual. So do you turn up on time? How do you look? How do you dress? How do you act? And what do other people say about you as well? So whilst you might have a great relationship with somebody, if somebody else tells you that they're rubbish at what they do, then you're not going to refer them. So you've got to think about trust in a number of different ways. And once you've built trust, and it's the biggest step in this process, then you move on to business knowledge. So the people who can make introductions for you, they need to have some business knowledge of what you do and how you solve problems for people. And they need to enough so that they can talk eloquently about your business and come across in a credible way. Once you're happy that people have got that, then they need to, when they're speaking to people, they need to be able to identify that there's a real need for what it is, whether it's your products or service. Rather than someone just saying, oh, do you know what, I'd love a new kitchen. And then you get an introduction as a kitchen fitter to somebody, you make an appointment to speak to them, only to find out that it's a pipe dream. So is there a definite need? So, and have they got the budget? So it's pointless being introduced to somebody to sell them a kitchen if they can't afford to have it. So can someone talk about your business properly, clearly? Can they explain how you work and what you charge, to the point that then when someone is ready and they've identified a need, that they can explain how you're the solution to their problem. So it's not selling. Somebody else has already said that they're looking for a new kitchen. You've explained that you know this amazing kitchen fitter who can transform your room into the kitchen of your dreams. They've explained what you charge and how you do it. So they're talking about how you're the solution to the problem that somebody else has got. So it's not a sales, you're just solving problems for people. And then while you're with that person, can they set an appointment with you? So you know with your key people, if someone rings you, that you'll pick up the phone. So whilst they're with somebody, they ring you and set up the appointment. And right now that's probably just going to be a phone call or a video meeting, but it makes the whole process so much easier, because it's really hard to pin people down for meetings and appointments. So that if somebody can be doing that on your behalf, it saves you a huge amount of time as you're going through this. So those are the 5 steps to the referral process. If you were to do nothing else, but just take this and speak to the people who you know, who can introduce you to the people that they know, so that you build trust with them, give them the knowledge that they need about your business, help them so that they can identify a real need, and that someone's got the finance available to invest in you. Explain how you solve their problem and what the solution is, and then set appointments for you. It'll transform your business. Okay, the next steps. Well, back over to you, Dawn.
Yeah, so this is number 4 in the 7. So it's kind of taking that principle that Jamie just talked about with the steps and actually putting some hard facts around it. So there's you on the left hand side, there's your clients that you're trying to reach on the right hand side. And on average, they say it takes around 8 hours to find one new client. Now that obviously varies across industries. You'll know what the average is for your industry and for your business. But bear in mind that that is taking into all of the things that's kind of acquiring a prospect to start with, be that in person, on social media, however you're going to acquire your prospect, and all of the pain that goes with that. And then previously you may have had travel to meetings to meet that client. You may have had to put a proposal together, go forwards and backwards, tweaking, negotiating, price, bartering or battering as it may be. Another meeting, you've got gatekeepers to get past. Lots and lots of things involved in actually trying to tie down one prospective client. And as I say, we say that's around 8 hours. What we're suggesting here is that you take those steps that Jamie's talked about and you put that into practice with your referral sources that I talked about in step 2, where you've got people around you who will be able to refer you a lot more. So in the middle there, we've got your referral sources. And what we would suggest is that instead of you trying to find the prospective clients, you're educating your referral sources to bring you multiple clients time and time and time again. So you're going to take those steps that Jamie talked about and implement them with your referral sources that you're identifying in the earlier step. Now imagine if you spent 8 hours, it's an incredibly long time, but imagine you spent 8 hours educating someone about your business. Let's just take half of that. Let's say you spent 4 hours educating them about your business and they spent 4 hours educating you about their business. I would say it's extremely likely that you'll be able to go out and source business for each other, because you'd have the right knowledge, you'd be able to identify the need, and you know how to offer the solution. You know, quite likely, a lot of us started 2020 thinking, you know, we want a bigger and better year than last year. We wanted to earn more money, make more profit. We wanted to do more things. I would also wager that most of us think that we worked really hard last year. So what were we going to do this year that was different? How can we work harder? You know, there's only so much time that we've got to fit in everything. So you have to learn how to work smarter. And this is one of the models for that. We can work less hours if we want to, because you look at those 8 hours, you're not going to have that now. You're going to be able to have extra time. What are you going to do with that extra time? Well, right now you might want to put it into developing more new business for your business, or some personal development, or you may want to spend time with the family. You may be able to want to go on more holidays when we're allowed to leave. And there's whatever you want to do with that time is completely up to you. But this is a way that you can do that buzzword. Everyone says you need to work smarter, not harder, but rarely do they come up with an example of how you can do that. And by taking these steps that we're talking about here, these ways to grow your business, this is a way that you can acquire more time and short circuit the whole procedure, and painful procedure sometimes, of finding and acquiring new prospective clients.
Okay, and I'll just give you a quick example of that. So this morning I've had one of my referral partners speaking to his existing customers today about how I can solve the problem for them, and pass me 2 brilliant referrals. So he's identified that they've got a problem right now and how I can fill that. He's explained how I'm the solution, and then he's set up meetings for me to give me warm introductions to those 2 people to explain how, with our Asentiv program, that we can help fix that problem that they've got right now. That's based on the relationships that I've got with my referral partners, so that they really understand what I do. So even though the world is in turmoil right now, I've still got people that are looking out for me and passing me introductions without me having to meet anybody new. Okay, so the 5th way that we've got is social media. And I just want to give you 5 things really to think about. So right now, there's probably a lot of people are a bit worried about selling and being seen to be selling, but unless we all carry on with our businesses, if we can, for those of us that have got businesses that either work online or work remotely, we've kind of got an obligation to continue trading so that we can support other local businesses in our area. And so the first thing that you could do rather than selling is promote somebody else's business. So give a shout out. Who do you know that's working right now that you could give a shout out to on social media? So you could write up a great recommendation for somebody, either on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever platform is appropriate for you and your business and the people that you're talking about and their business. So the first one is, who can you do shout outs for? The second one is, you've probably done a lot of networking over the last few weeks and months. And if you're like most people, you'll have a stack of business cards that you've never actually had the time to sit and connect with people on LinkedIn. So pick up that pile of business cards and go through and connect with people on LinkedIn and just drop them a message that says, hi, we met at a recent networking event. Whilst I've got this time because I'm working at home, I thought I'd reach out and connect with you. So that's making the most of your existing business cards and connecting with people on LinkedIn. The third one is to write some reviews or testimonials. Most people don't do this unless prompted. So if you'd like to get more reviews and testimonials, you need to write some for some other people. So what could you do? You could do a Facebook review, you could write somebody a LinkedIn recommendation, or you could do a Google review and Google their business and write them a 5-star review there. Then you might want to screenshot it and talk about it on social media as well. So then you're going back to number 1 again and doing somebody a shout out. The fourth one is connecting with new people. So think about, who are your ideal clients, and then use LinkedIn and Facebook to do some targeted searching for people with specific job titles or in specific sectors and connect with some new people. Start to build your network. LinkedIn, without a doubt, I think is going to go through a boom in the coming weeks and months as more people see it as a tool to connect with new people and build their network. And then the last one, number 5, is to engage with people. Most people just lurk on social media, and Dawn wrote a LinkedIn post about this recently. Are you a lurker and a scroller, or do you engage? So what do we mean by engage? Most people, our thumbs just naturally scroll through stuff when we're looking on social media. How often do you stop and give a like or a laughter emoji or a heart emoji to something and actually write a comment? Few people actually take the time to write a comment, and that helps the social media algorithms, because when Facebook and LinkedIn see that people are engaging with content and writing comments and interacting, they give more weight to that post and it reaches more people. So you're not just commenting, you're helping that person to increase the exposure of their social media posts and their business. So that's 5 ways that you could use social media to grow your business by helping other people. And people look at your profile. So if you start commenting and turning up on other people's stuff quite regularly, it draws attention to you and your business. Okay, so number 6, back over to Dawn.
So killer elevator pitch, it says at the top there. Now, don't just think about this as in when you go networking, everyone talks about the elevator pitch. This is something that you can use on social media that Jamie was just talking about. You can use it in your adverts that you're putting out. You can use it in lots and lots of different ways, but it's something to cut through all the noise of everyone else when you're asked what you do. Instead of saying, I am I'm a business coach, I'm an accountant, I'm a HR consultant. He's saying what you do in a way that hints at what you do but doesn't actually say it, and what you're looking for is the only possible answer from the other person to be a question in how do you do that. So for example, we might say, you know how business owners are really worried about where the next client is coming from, they're getting sleepless nights. We help them get a steady stream of clients into their business and help them to stress less. Right, how do you do that? We haven't actually said we're coaches. We haven't said what our program does. We haven't said how it operates. We've just said what the outcome could be. We're just hinting at something. So think about your business and think about how you could start the phrase, you know how, and hint at what you do without fully giving it away. Because what what we know here is that most people introduce themselves in the same way. If you have ever been networking, think about when it gets to the elevator pitch, think about what people stand up and say. Good morning, my name's Dawn Owen, I'm a business coach, this is my company, and then I'll go in to tell you why I'm so good at what I do. Everyone says the same thing. You're looking for a pattern interrupt here to stop people's minds in their tracks because they're conditioned to what they're going to be receiving from you. When you don't say, I'm a, and you start with you know how, that immediately cuts through their brain to go, whoa, something different is being said, I need to listen. You know, we've had examples of people using this, going to networking events, sharing this at speed networking with 27 other people, most of whom they already knew, but have people coming up to her later and say, I never knew you did that, because you just put it in a different way. So think about how you can start your thing with you know how, give an example of like an outcome that you achieve for someone without hinting at what you do. If you start going into the realms of helping them, then try to roll back a bit. You don't want to actually say how you do it, you know, so you don't want to say, like when I just said my bit there, we do that by providing courses that show them how to get more clients. I don't want to go as far as that, because then I'm going into telling them how I actually do it. So you just want to hint at what is the, I suppose, the problem, the challenge, what is it that you solve, what's the afters, what's the outcome that you achieve for people, and hint at that so that someone will come back to you with that, how do you do that? You can then use that on social media posts, you can use it in advertising, you can use it when you're networking online or in person, but you can also use it when you're networking at things that aren't labeled networking, because we can network anywhere. So, you know, I like a lot of social networking, if you will. I like to go to events, and you know, invariably when you meet new people, they will, in your personal life as well, they will ask you, what do you do? And away you go. So spend some time in putting together a killer you know how phrase and start using it. It will push you out your comfort zone because we're so used to answering in a certain way. It's practice, like anything. Start practicing it. If you've got an online networking event this week, come up with something, and I challenge you to use that. It will cut through all the other people and you will get attention from people straight away.
Thanks, Dawn. I'll just give a quick example of that. So we've got a lady called Lisa who's sat our Asentiv training with us and refined her you know how pitch. She then used that on LinkedIn and picked up an inquiry that was worth £1,000 a month for her. So such a simple phrase can have a massive impact on your business. And it's just another tool that people aren't using, that if you spend some time and craft this, it can make a big difference to your business. Okay, so the seventh one is another simple strategy, and it's just to pick up the phone and call people to ask how they are. So we call them how are you calls. I'll give you an example of this. I've got a financial advisor who's a client. Last week they started calling some of their clients just to check in. How are you? Came off the phone from one of them with £100,000 worth of investment. So despite all the turmoil that's going on in the world right now, there's a great opportunity to reconnect with people or call your existing clients and just say, how are you? So you're not ringing to sell, you're not ringing to do anything other than just see how they are. Another example of this, we've got an electrician that runs a big firm. He ran somebody that he'd spoke to in the past, never done any business with, rang them just to see how they were, and then on the call arranged to meet up for a couple of pints. This was a few weeks ago. And then 2 days later, he got a phone call from the same person to say, right, I've just picked up a job. I've got 3 commercial kitchens that need rewiring. Would you be interested in doing it? And that's worth £10,000 each, so a £30,000 job as a result of a simple how are you call. It helps you come top of mind for that person, and then things happen. You're there when opportunities present themselves. You're the first person that people think of. So make some time to make some how are you calls and reconnect with people and speak to your existing customers. Another example that we had of that was a photographer who sat the program with us last year. Doesn't really like to use the phone. We pushed him to do this. He generally does everything by email. and more reactive rather than proactive. So he has one client that normally emails him when they need him. As a result of a bit of cajoling and pushing, he rang the client only to find out that the reason that they hadn't been in touch was because his normal contact had left. So they were never going to get in touch with him. Whilst he was on the phone, they put him in touch with the person who had replaced his contact, and he came off the phone with a £2,500 booking that he never would have got if he hadn't made that "how are you" call. So it's not a sales call, it's just a call to touch base and say "how are you." And right now there's never been a better time than to call people to say "how are you." Okay, we've got a bonus one here. Dawn?
Yes, the keen-eyed among you will notice that's number 8, and that's really just about bringing it all together. So you'll notice on there we've got a virtual football team, and that's what we like to think of, how this stuff helps you. It helps you build a team of referral partners around you. It's never been more important to have a strong network around you, but more importantly to know how to leverage that network for maximum impact on you and your business. And the other analogy with the football team there is like they pass a ball. We like to think of that team as passing business, because if you've got the right people around you, you will literally be able to pass each of the business around that. Yes, it takes some structure and strategy, and it takes some work, but it's something that can be done, and it's very simple, not easy, just like anything, it does take some work, but it's a very simple way of bringing more business into your business. And because it's relationship based, it's more stickier, it's more loyal, it's more fun, and it outlasts things like the turmoil that we've got in at the moment, because it's built on relationship rather than just financial gain or any other kind of benefit. It's just good old-fashioned, if you will. I believe it's how business was done many years ago. It's good old-fashioned relationship building. People are in it together, helping each other.
And I think one of the things is that we live in a digital world nowadays, so people don't ring people, they don't meet people that often. We'll probably appreciate it more when we can do it again, but we help people, we take them through a process and we help them structure what they should be doing on a daily, weekly basis to generate consistent referrals. Dawn and I have both done this in our previous businesses, and this is how our business works now. So there's a very good chance that you've either come across this on social media or someone's recommended that you sit in on this free webinar to find out more about it. So I'd just like to end with that if this has been useful for you, then book a free call with us. Dawn and I will send a link out for you to choose a time that suits you and find out more about this. If you are interested in Asentiv, it's something that we're passionate about. It's making a real difference in people's lives right now. And despite all the turmoil that's going on, there's a lot of business out there and people that are doing well. It'll help you, as a result of this call, get crystal clear on what opportunities there are for you right now, to uncover some of the biggest challenges that you've got and how to overcome them, and leave with a clear plan of action of what you need to do each day in order to generate your new business in the coming weeks and months. The two objections that people generally have about getting involved with our program is time and money. And right now, even if you're still doing your day job, you've got extra time because you're not doing any commuting. There's all that extra travel time that's just spare. And we're only talking about 2.5 hours a fortnight to do this. And then money, it used to be that we used to take an upfront payment for this. And Dawn and I realized that the people that really needed this perhaps didn't have the money to invest up front. So we've spread the cost of this. We're taking the risk on this to spread it out over 12 months. So it's more affordable than ever and easier to access. So we do it live on Zoom, and it's a great opportunity to grow your business right now, or to prepare to grow it whilst you've got the time, whilst we're all self-isolating, to prepare for when the doors are unlocked and we can all go out and get back to normal and build our business again. Anything else, Dawn?
No, that's it. I'd just like to thank everyone for coming on today. We will be sending a recording out as well for you, and I hope you found it of value.
All right, thanks everyone.